Alrighty, we're ready to begin a new batch of my watermelon hard cider. Of course, most important thing is everything's sterilized with, I keep a bottle of sterilization solution, which is, I think it's like a tablespoon of sodium metabisulfite per gallon. It's on the package. Anyway, so I rinse everything with this often. It's very important, where you waste a lot of time because you have a terrible batch otherwise. So that's been done, and there's a little bit of liquid in there, so I'll just dump that. Unless we're working in the basement, just dump on the floor. So now we're ready to add. I've got Walmart apple juice here. And I also have Walmart apple punch, which I think the combination works well. And I will add almost half water. The last batch that turned out really well. I really didn't need to have all juice. So saves you money too. With this method, a whole batch, 5 gallons of cider, cost you totally under 20 bucks. Alrighty, let's boil some sugar. I would say about 2 of these would be sufficient. Upstairs we go. We're in the kitchen, and I've got 4 quarts of water near a boil, and I've got my 7 pounds of regular table sugar ready to go. So let's put that in. Hopefully it'll fit. The last batch I tried to put 10 pounds of sugar in, and it wouldn't ferment, it got stuck, so that was too much. I had to split the batch. So we're going to cut it down to 7. Well, that fits. Alright, we can add a little more water back. Okay, I'm going to add some of this to the other pot so it's not so hot in the carboy. I don't want to break the glass, I'm going to let it cool down for a while too, just so it's not too hot. Okay, a little more water. By the way, I'm using hard, unsoftened, that is, well water from my tap, which is what we have here. So I would stay away from anything chlorinated if you don't have well. You know, I think that's enough. Get a little headroom in there. So we will give it a stir now. This should do fine. Here's my stirring device. Got from the wine store, wine vintner circle. Alrighty, let's give it a stir. Get all the sugar off the bottom. By the way, this has been sterilized first. My hands also. Gets all that syrupy sugar solution mixed in well. Now we'll add a packet of yeast. I'm using Lavalin 1118, which is a, what's it say? It's a wine yeast. I like the EC 1118. It's got a high tolerance for alcohol. You can get up to about 20%. So, let's add that. And we'll give it another stir. It's in there. Alright, that should be fine. Then we will take a gravity reading. Let's see, where's my, here it is. We've got the hydrometer and the wine thief. Go like this. And let's get our original gravity. And this says we have, yeah, we're around 11 or 12. Probably because I only use 7 pounds of sugar. I usually use 8 or so, but I'm alright with that. 20 in the bricks and 12 potential and 1.85. So write that down and we'll check it in a week or so. And hopefully it'll be bubbling along very soon. Lock on, and we're done for a while. Okay, folks, the bottle's been brewing for a couple of months now, and it's slowed down. You notice the bubbler. That's been about every 25 seconds or so, which is pretty slow. I notice how much clearer this is. I also took a hydrometer reading, which I guess I'll show you again how to do that. Make sure we're getting a good view. Yeah, okay, so you want to stop fermenting when the hydrometer's gets to around 1. So let's see. And there it is. It's right at about 1.01. That's okay. You can let it go further if you want to, like, negative. If you're very, very dry and you got to back sweeten more. So I'm happy with this. It's going to be slightly sweeter, and I'll stop the brewing with sodium metabisulfite. And then, but before we do that, first, the next step is to rack this to my secondary, and then let that clarify. Here's my second glass carboy, and keep the lid on it just to keep it sterile. And I keep some sodium metabisulfite left in there just to keep it sterile. So I'm going to put this on the floor and rack it. Basically it's It's a wine thief with a long hose attached to it. So basically we're just going to put it in there and you know, just for absolute safety, I'm going to sterilize this a little bit because you never want to get other yeast involved there. It's been sitting on the shelf for a while, so I'll just put some in there and just to keep it clean. Okay, now put this in and this in the bottom. You want also to put the tube down the bottom of the carboy, as I did here, so it doesn't have a lot of bubbling going on. I'm going to put the camera down because I have to use two hands to do this. So we're just going to leave it as still as possible inside that one. Give it a couple of pumps and let it go. There'll be a little bit of sediment on the first pump, but that's it. So that'll move along, and as you can see, it's just going along down in there. And that won't take more than a few minutes. Okay, we're almost at the bottom. And I'm going to very gently tilt this before it sucks up air. I don't want to disturb my yeast. And that's the end of that. Okay, so take this out. I'll rinse this with water and then my sterilization solution. Okay, now to stop the yeast, I use potassium metabisulfite. And as you can see, it's 1/8 teaspoon per gallon, so that's 5/8 teaspoon for 5 gallons, which is a little more than half a teaspoon. So I'll put a heaping half teaspoon in. And, so stir. Break up the little chunks. Bring that down. Okay, so we're going to add this to our secondary. And give it a stir in a minute. You'll see why. Next step, we're going to clear it up with Super Clear KC. This costs like $4, as you can see, in the wine making store. I think it's worth it. It's very fast. It's a 2-stage. You put the one stage in. You mix it in some warm water. You wait an hour or so. Then you put stage 2 in, and you mix it up. And then within hours, it turns crystal clear. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so this one we're just going to add the little pack, part 1. And we will give that a stir with our fancy stir bit. Do it. hour and do part 2. Stay tuned. Alright, I've got my little cup of warm water. I'm going to just snip the corner off of this pour. This one's a bit thicker. That's why it needs to be mixed with warm water. It's kind of thick. And in we go. Okay. We'll rinse this off and then sterilize it and watch. Come back a little bit and notice how much clearer it'll be next time. Oh, in a couple hours we'll see a big difference. Stay tuned. Alrighty, it cleared up. See how clear that is? You can see right through that. And there's some stuff on the bottom, which normally you could just bottle right from here if you were happy with the flavor, but I like to add some flavorings and such, so I'll be stirring, so I don't want to stir that stuff up. So I'm going to rack it again, which I probably don't even have to put on video since I think you know how to rack, but I just want to show you that I am indeed doing it one last time so that I can stir my flavorings in without messing it up. So there we go. So there's my my cider. It tastes really good. It's so good. You know, I was gonna flavor it with watermelon. But it's so good because I took it out at 1.01 versus 0, where all the sugar would be gone by now. So I'm going to show you how to measure the alcohol now. I'm going to bottle it next instead of flavoring it first, because I can always flavor it in the bottles with drops of extract too. So anyway, I have this vinometer, which is really cool because you really don't know what kind of alcohol level you have until you use this. This, basically, you just pour a little of your alcohol in here, unsweetened, possible, and you wait for it to drip a couple times through the bottom, and then dump it out and put it upside down and watch that little bubble go down. If we can see it, it's I'm going to focus on this. I don't know if you can see that. There's a bubble that's going down to oh, there it is. I don't know if you can you see that? It's at 20. Man. Saying, actually it's, what's that? That's 17 or 18 is what it says as far as alcohol level. That's as strong as you can get wine yeast. So, next step, bottling. This is the bottling part, where we have this little bottler with a valve on it. Great investment. You simply put it into your hose we've been using for racking, and you put some duct tape so it doesn't all leak out when you stop it. And the beauty is when you fill the bottle, and I'll demonstrate over here so you can see it, you have to first press the valve on the bottom where the air is trapped. So then you give it a pump, and it goes along. Now I should probably show you how when you pull it up, it stops. So you just have a drip or two, and you got to press it down for it to work. And it fills the bottle easily. These green ones are tougher to see when it's filled, but with the proper lighting you can. But it fills it pretty fast. Otherwise I'd be trying to kink this off here and pinch it, and it'd be a mess. And you fill it a little higher than you want because you have the thickness of the thing in the way. And then that's pretty much it. And I'll carbonate some of this by putting it in 2-liter bottles and then back into these bottles. And add flavorings if I want to later. So that's it for this part. We are now up to the flavoring stage of the hard watermelon cider. This is what I like to use for my watermelon. This is from Olive Nation. You can see that. That's I think it costs like $8. It's this huge bottle, 4 ounces. Nice little dropper, it's very helpful. And some red food coloring. I found that after a lot of tasting, that 8 drops per bottle is just the right amount. A nice watermelon flavor. Feel free to experiment with your own numbers. So, here's our 8, my fresh brewed batch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, my cider loving fans, this is the step where we carbonate the finished product. So, I've got my 2-liter bottle here. This is a special carbonator cap. $25 for this, but it's worth it because it lasts forever. Plastic ones fall apart. Don't waste your money. So I take 2 bottles of my watermelon cider that has not been carbonated and pour them into my 2-liter bottle. I won't bore you with the pouring. Okay, here's our 2 liters. To this, we'll add, as you can see, it's nice cider color, but since we're doing watermelon cider, I think it's better to add something that looks more like watermelon, which is red food color. Put about, 4 drops. These little handy devices. So anyway, so we have a nice red colored cider now. And then we put on the cap. Take the air out a little bit. Turn on my tank. I've got it on about almost 50 pounds of pressure. Also another important device, another 40 bucks or so, but this is indestructible and lasts forever. And shake it up. Shake for about, oh, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute until the needle doesn't go up very much. Believe it or not, this is, people were really amazed at how this method of carbonation resulted in a very fine bubble. And they said, wow, did you use the méthode de Champenois? Which was really time consuming because the bubbles were so fine. So it's basically making champagne, a watermelon champagne out of cider. That's about, that's pretty good. Turn it off, unhook it, and we'll let that settle. And then I label my bottle with this little code for me, just so I know that this has been carbonated and red was added, as you can see, just so I don't. This is what it looks like. A nice, bubbly, champagne-like cider. So, very good.